That, in a nutshell, and I hope within my time limit, is the Arc. Now, nothing is free, so we have a lot of economists, and Michael and I in particular spent a lot of time looking at costs, and we costed out the basic Arc infrastructure at about $6 billion, with an allowance of $2.5 billion for the first 100,000 housing units, supplemented by private sector investment. The housing is being built in Ramallah and elsewhere in the West Bank today. And all the other sectors, which I haven't even touched on, recommendations for schools, hospitals, clinics, courthouses, police stations, and so forth, we calculated about $25 billion. So the price tag in the first 10 years is $33 billion. Most people working at an international scale say to us, that's all. Usually people are surprised at the price. In other words, if you compare it to what the G8 has generally committed per year in assistance to the territories, it comes out to almost existing levels of commitment, if not payment. So that the price of it, in a sense, in all our discussions over 5 years, has never been the issue. It's always been the politics. How do we get there? What we've said is one way to get there is to start now. It's a long-term plan that could begin immediately. You could start to reserve the corridor. That can be done regardless of whether there's a peace agreement at this point to lay out where it would go. You could certainly designate where station areas would be. You could upgrade some of the transit boulevards and start running buses today, certainly in Areas A, under the Oslo agreements. You could build some of the new districts. They're being built today. You've seen the reports in the paper. We don't think they're being in particularly sustainable locations, but they are being built. And finally, over time, you could complete the transport system, and that might be over a period of 10 to 12 years. In that vein, I'm going to end by showing you what we've been doing since then, which is working with the authority, with the Ministry of Planning, with the Prime Minister's office, thanks to the good offices of his economic advisor, Karim Nashashibi, who I'm delighted to say is here in the audience with us today, talking about what could we do now. And one would be a quick impact transit line. Just start running buses between 4 cities in the West Bank on existing roads, dealing with perhaps 5 checkpoints and some special security procedures. Start to think about urban districts that are sustainable so that what's being built in the West Bank is done in a way that is sustainable over the long term, and then finish the national plan. We've laid these out, you can see, in 100, 300, and 1,000 days. We believe that it is even possible under current circumstances to have visible progress on the ground in 3 years, and for some of the easier pieces, even within a year. The intercity bus line would have in each city 3 major stations, one in the old center, one along the boulevard, and the third out at the Arc, where the train will eventually come, we would hope. But even if it doesn't, the improvements can begin today. Right now, there's a significant public transport sector in the West Bank. It's fairly well organized, somewhat informal, but it doesn't serve Palestinians particularly well. It's uncomfortable, it's hot, there are no schedules, the traffic is bad. People do get where they're going, but mothers with children cower by the side of the roadway. There are very few amenities, no bathrooms, things that in any developed country would expect in a public transport system. Getting to it from housing is dangerous. Often there are no sidewalks, treacherous to cross these busy streets. So what we've suggested as an example, and I'll finish with just a couple of quick examples. In the central station, organize it better right now. It's all private sector. Probably the public sector needs to intervene to organize it, introduce buses on the street, shelters, bathrooms, amenities, some landscaping, some shade, some water. That means that waiting for the bus becomes a dignified affair, very organized. It would have an immediate impact on the quality of life for many, many Palestinians. And though we support the idea of industrial parks to some extent, what we've always said is, well, they create a lot of jobs. Very few people see them, and they really don't benefit lots of people. If you want to have quick impact on a lot of people, help them with mobility, with not only the quality but the speed of the mobility. Second, in urban districts, around the stations, designate those as investment zones and encourage investors to build close by with housing, churches, mosques, parks, schools, so that people can then walk to public transport rather than have to drive to the station. And finally, on the national plan, move ahead with the engineering for the train station, for the Arc on the outskirts. Set it up now as a bus station. You remember I said you could start running buses between the cities, intercity buses. You could do very quickly an interim bus station at this site. Build it so that over time, eventually the train, you've planned it so that the train can come in overhead, but it can be used now. And when the train comes, and by the way, look at Dubai's new subway system or look at Istanbul's new bus rapid transit system if you think that such systems can't be built in the Middle East for some reason. They exist, and they're very successful. This would be daily life for Palestinians, but even today, and this is my last slide, we really believe that you have to sustain both the long-term vision but have a strategy for delivering improvements on the ground now. And with that combination, we think that this could be a way to help catalyze movement towards what we all hope for, which is peace and a two-state solution. Thank you.